something that can be done by the homeowner.
Yeah.
And come out quite nicely to give you the satisfaction of doing the work in your home and not paying somebody else to do it, like myself. And very nice surfaces here. We have all prepped, primed. Ceiling is done. Ceiling first, like I had said earlier, ceilings are to be painted first, and then your walls cut in around top and bottom. So we have working on the process to get it final.
Yeah. Now I like this. You see he's using a 5-gallon bucket with this little strainer in there. That's a grid strainer. And even if you're only going to use a half-gallon of paint or a gallon of paint, this is the proper, easiest, quickest way of doing your project. In a 5-gallon bucket, you got more control putting it on with the roller. I know you've seen me do it with a little paint tray, and I've done that for all kinds of little projects, but you can do it this way too, right here.
Exactly, yeah.
Now Jim does it this way all the time because he's set up that way. Now if you're not set up that way, do you have to go buy a 5-gallon bucket and a paint strainer and all that? No, if you've got just one little wall to do or a little project and you're not used to doing painting, you can get the paint tray and do that. And if you decide later on, hey, I kind of like painting, I'm going to do this more often,
yeah,
you can get your paint bucket and a strainer like that and do it this way.
Yeah, it just you can put more material in a bucket and you have less spillage. If you're working out of a tray, it's easier to move around for me.
Yeah.
And it just, you pour a gallon of paint in it, and then you don't have to stop and fill your tray again. And it's recyclable. You can use it over and over and over.
Yes, this
paint
bucket
trays
here.
Sometimes, they get flimsy or whatnot.
Yeah. I end up using those liners on the paint trays, and I just either throw it away or I let the paint dry in it and I peel it off.
Yeah.
I'm cheap, man.
Well, that's like me, I try to use something to its full capacity and not just use something once and throw it away.
Yeah.
That's too much of a society to do that.
Now see, you can use a roller just by hand without using the extension. See, he's got a little confined bay window area here. It's almost a little bit easier doing it without the paint roller extension.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And you can have they make little short extension rollers, little short ones.
Yeah.
2-footer, 1-footer.
That's true.
And when you're doing big walls and big ceilings, it's nice to have a pole. You get more control over.
Especially hallways. You get a small hallway, you got to have the small extension pole, don't you? Or else you keep hitting it. You got to go up halfway and down the other way.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in a hallway with your brush and roller.
Now see, it's all in the prep. Previously, he had masked off the window stools and aprons, and he's got masking tape and his drops down and all that, and then that makes your project go that much easier and quicker.
Yes, indeed. You know, after you're done rolling everything on, your walls are all done, you strip the tape and the paper off, and then you might have to touch up a little bit, do a little detail work. Just like painting a car, you got to go and look at the detail of it and make sure everything's covered nicely. And that's just something that, good lighting again, and good eyesight and good vision about how your job, your end result will be. Everything's covered, everything's sealed, and got a nice uniform look on your walls. Very nicely done. And it can be done by the average homeowner.
Now see, he's going to have to end up painting around all these windows too, and he'll end up doing that, and then when he gets all done with them, what are you going to do to the windows, Jim?
I'm going to check the window line against the where the window is installed, make sure it might need a little bead of caulking. I kind of roll down there a little bit on the edge just to catch it, and then when I strip the paper or the tape, I'll look down there. It might need a little small bead of caulking, white caulking, right down on the edge.
Yeah.
Just to make it look a nice, clean look.
That's what I always like to do. Is just put the
Yeah.
caulking and be done with it.
Gets a final look.
Gives it a nice final
Finish.
look, especially against these white vinyl window frames. And that's
Yeah.
most of the window frames nowadays are like that.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah, they are.
Unless you go custom. You know, there's a lot of people getting red ones.
See, he's got that big roller cover. That's what is that? Inch and a quarter
I
lambskin.
believe this is 1.25 right here.
And he's using that just for around the windows. And it's just putting it on a different way and sliding it around.
Yep, it gets in there.
Stuff.
And whatever's not covered with a roller, you got.
It's got his little
coming
handy.
down in. And because you're not experiencing a lot of splatter coming off the roller itself,
Yeah.
when you're rolling down these confined areas around windows, you don't have splatter coming off and onto places where it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So that's a factor in buying your tools, your painting tools. If you want something that's going to really produce for you a good job and work for you, just get some better, tools.
He's putting shutters in there, I think.